9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. My name is Chris Hand. Mac Morey producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom. You guys on the phone lines, the Members Nutrition text line, 615-737-9986. You have a good weekend? You do anything fun?
It's great, man. Yeah, I just hung out, chilled, played it low key.
That was it?
Spent some time outside. Yeah, come on.
All right.
That's the best kind of weekend.
All right. You know what I did?
Yeah, what'd you do? Please, wow us.
Spent like an hour yesterday at Walmart. My boys wanted these little superhero toys.
Oh, nice.
Right? And it's a mystery pack. It's a mystery pack, so you don't know what you're getting. But there's like one little teeny tiny hole that you can see through.
Oh, yeah.
Like pin size.
Yeah.
So my boys were making me look in the hole with the flashlight to figure out which superhero they were going to get.
That is awesome.
Spent way too much time doing that.
Did it work?
Yeah, we nailed it.
You guys actually?
Nailed it. Nailed it. We got ourselves a Martian Manhunter.
Nice.
And the Man Bat, which is exactly what they wanted.
That's perfect.
It took a long time.
That is awesome. Yeah,
so I was like, I'm like this awkward adult, like looking through the toy package with a flashlight out, trying to figure out, is this the right one?
This feels like Jingle All the Way, and you were looking for the
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was very Jingle All the Way. No Sinbad.
Yeah, no Sinbad.
Yeah, that still to this day one of the most underrated movies there
absolutely.
is. Yeah.
That's one thing we can absolutely agree on. Yeah, no one was getting trampled over, I'm sure, in the store. That's good.
No, that's
good.
It was very calm.
Good,
it was very calm. Did you see?
Awesome.
Friday before I checked out, because I try to like not really plug in on the weekends too much, because the news stinks. Yeah, exactly. That's usually how I feel. And we tried to end Friday with some fun. We had Taylor Goyette on.
That was great.
Who was awesome.
Man.
If you missed Taylor or wanted to listen to that again, it's on the podcast page. So we try to close out Friday with some fun and get away from the negativity of the news cycle. So before I plugged out or unplugged for the weekend, I caught The View, which is probably the worst thing to do before you're trying to unplug. And The View, they're worried. They're worried about these protests. Not that, students aren't allowed to go to class or that there's violent assaults or that there's vandalism or that, anti-Semitism. They're not really worried about any of those things like a normal person would be. They're worried that the protests on college campuses are actually going to take your eyes off of January 6th.
The optics of chaos and lack of control are problematic. One of the people with this event said donors are flocking to this event due to the horror of nightly images they see on TV. So I do think they should be taking note of money has been a problem for Donald Trump. He can't pay his legal fees. Donors were running away.
Do they not remember the visuals on January 6th? Do they not remember those visuals?
I think visuals
chaos?
In the humans look at the recent visions. So nightly image right now matters more to them than January 6th.
Is ingrained in my memory, and it should be ingrained in every single person's memory in the United States of America.
But what about Jan 6, says the women on The View. What about Jan 6? I don't understand why they're comparing. I feel like it's apples to oranges. Jan 6 was one day. This has been weeks now. Jan 6 had a lot of outsiders involved, had a lot of peaceful protesters. These college campus protests have been just chaotic.
It should be, but they're completely different. A lot of the imagery looked similar, and it was you're going to see Republicans seeing windows being smashed, things being defaced on college campuses, and it evokes that same sense of loss.
And the president had to speak to it.
Can I just say, it was wise of Biden to get out and give us
somebody's behind that with money. I'm sorry. Who bought those tents, for example?
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Joy Behar. Who is behind these protests? Who bought those tents, for example? Well, as it turns out, we've been reporting for a while. It's George Soros, it's Dave Rockefeller, it's Biden's own political donors funding these protests on college campuses. Breitbart has a great story on this. The pro-Palestinian anti-Semitic protests on university campuses across the nation, funded by Joe Biden's own political donors, which could explain why he hesitates to condemn them and won't investigate them. So research by NGO Monitor and others into the donors behind the protests has turned up similar names from the Democrat Party bankroll, and it includes George Soros' Open Society Foundation and other liberal philanthropies. Biden's Department of Justice, they're not going to investigate the civil rights abuses. They're not going to investigate what's being committed by these encampments against Jews, journalists, others. And they've also refused to consider RICO conspiracy charges. And they're saying the reason is because of who is bringing the money. Joy Behar made a great point. Look at all these tents. They're all the same tents. Who's paying for the tents? Well, Politico reported on Sunday that two of the main organizers behind the protests at the Columbia University and on other campuses are Jewish Voice for Peace and If Not Now. Both are supported by the Tides Foundation, which is seeded by Democrat megadonor George Soros, as well as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And in turn, it supports numerous small nonprofits that work for social change. Gates did not return a request for comment. Soros declined to comment. Other notable Democrat donors involved in these protests, David Rockefeller Jr. He sits on the board of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund. In 2022, that fund gave $300,000 to that Tides Foundation, according to nonprofit tax forms. Tides has given nearly $500,000 over the past 5 years to Jewish Voice for Peace, which explicitly describes itself as anti-Zionist. Several other groups involved in the pro-Palestinian protests are backed by a foundation funded by Susan and Nick Pritzker. The Pritzkers, the heir to the Hyatt Hotel empire, and supporters of Biden in numerous Democratic campaigns. They donated thousands of dollars to Victory Fund a few months ago, more than $300,000 to his 2020 campaign. And that's just the fact. The Democrat Party mega donors are the ones funding these campus protests. Strange. Wild. Not shocking. Not shocking at all. Biden's biggest donors funding the protests, and we're hearing now we could have protests all summer. It's going to be a protester summer. There's protesters saying that they're going to stay put for the summer. Nothing will deter them from that. I was under the impression this was going to dry up come summer. I said that. But now several protesters have told Politico that they're not giving up, even with summer approaching. And as several anti-Israel encampments on university campuses have been cleared, adding there is nothing that will deter them from continuing protesting the war between Israel and Hamas. They said there's a genocide going on in Gaza, and there's nothing that will deter us from doing everything we can do to end it. That's a senior at the University of Michigan telling Politico. He said this movement is not a flash in the pan, but it's here to stay. And will stay until we achieve divestment, as happened with the South African anti-apartheid movement in the 80s and so many others. It's nice.
That's a senior, yeah. They don't want to leave.
Yeah, fair.
They're just holding on.
Fair. Yeah, he doesn't want to get a real job or get a real job, keep camping.
Exactly. Come on.
That's a tough one.
You can't blame the guy.
That's a tough one. Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
That is a little surprising.
I thought that these were going to dry up.
I'm sure some will, but yeah, it sounds like some won't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, at University of Michigan, that's really the only time you can be outside of Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, this is our window. We're not gonna waste that. Pro-Palestinian protests and encampments, you've seen them. They've been everywhere on college campuses. They started at Columbia University April 17th, and they're not going anywhere. So at least we got something to look forward to all summer. You know what I mean? We were all like, what's going to be the news cycle? Is there going to be anything to talk about this summer? But yep, there is. And then did you hear about the leader of Colombia? The possible leader of Colombia? Possible leader of the anti-Israel protesters in Colombia is identified as James Carlson. He also goes by Cody Carlson and Cody Tarlow. He's a longtime anarchist. Several names. This is a high-ranking police source telling the New York Post this. He's actually 40 years old. Weird. He's going full Van Wilder on these college campuses. He's 40 years old, and he's the heir to a multi-million-dollar fortune. So, as grassroots as you can get. He's the son of notable advertising executives Richard Dick Tarlow and Sandy Carlson Tarlow, and reportedly has a child with a model, Kim Ehrman. Do you know who that model is?
No.
I have no idea.
I don't know any models.
And also, like, model nowadays, like, what are we talking? Are you an Instagram model?
That's way too broad.
Yeah. Are you an Instagram model? Have you done photo shoots? What does this mean?
Yeah, exactly.
OnlyFans? What are we talking
what do you
about
do?
here? But this is who's leading the protests. Multi-million dollar heirs that are in their 40s. How it's so organic, right? It's just natural. It's all about the students, right?
Exactly.
Classic. And then I saw one over the weekend. Protesters were cleared out of University of Virginia. Over 24 arrested. I mentioned that one for my mother and father-in-law who live outside of Charlottesville. The Virginia State Police cleared an anti-Israel protest at UVA in Charlottesville on Saturday and took over 24 protesters into custody. Law enforcement officials in riot gear were approaching the pro-Palestinian encampment that sat on the university's lawn. They sprayed chemical irritants as they began clearing the encampment, according to a video posted by the Cavalier Daily, UVA's student-run newspaper. They got them out of there. So good. I want to see this more places, and hopefully we can see it in Michigan where they're saying, we're going to stay all summer. Hopefully people say, no, we're not going to do that. This entire thing, all of these protests have been a Trump campaign ad. We've had numerous callers telling us that this is just a campaign ad for Trump, and Trump has actually taken that and turned this into a campaign ad. He dropped his new campaign ad, American Loving Frat Boys versus Pro-Palestinian Rioters.
While campuses struggle to get control of their students, at UNC Chapel Hill, they are bringing order back. Students restoring the American flag and singing the national anthem.
Protesters began to take down the American flag, and that's when the guys stepped in.
Patriotic fraternity brothers stepped in and said, "Not today, Hamas."
The group of frat brothers defended the American flag from anti-Israel protesters.
I held the Israeli flag, and they held up the American flag while protesters chanted at us, screamed at us. I was told to kill myself about 50 times, called a white supremacist, a fascist.
They protected the flag for an hour. They were pelted with bottles and rocks.
But they stood strong.
I think the most popular college students right now are the ones at UNC.
God bless those UNC frat guys for taking down the Palestinian flag and putting up Old Glory.
Giving us some hope there that not all college students have gone woke.
They should be celebrated for, and what might more rare is their bravery, their willingness to stand up and exhibit that patriotism and protect America.
All is not lost. In every corner of America, there are many people that love this country.
I'm very proud of these boys and very, very proud that we have parents that are raising good kids like this in our country.
I love America. There are still patriots in this country that actually want to fight and would, sacrifice themselves for this flag, this country.
It's good to know that there's some patriotic young men out there supporting the flag still out there.
Don't bend the knee to these people.
I mean, it's a powerful ad, and it does give you hope for the future of America. However, you see these frat boys stepping up, and now they're being demonized as well. At Ole Miss, there was a bunch of frat boys stepping up. They were singing the national anthem. There was one frat boy who was seen making monkey noises at a protester, a larger black woman. They were also chanting Lizzo at her, and they've doxed this kid, and they're saying that he's been kicked out of his fraternity. They plastered his face on social media. They identified him. And it's amazing to me how one frat boy making a rude comment can get you doxxed. But have you seen any of the protesters doxxed? The ones that are committing violence or stopping students from going across campus? No. It's all about feelings. And with this student at Ole Miss, I feel terrible because he did something dumb, right? But now he's going to be kicked out of his fraternity. Now he's going to be demonized. And you don't see the same kind of treatment for the people who are chanting from the river to the sea and cheering on genocide. But, you make one dumb comment and you're out. It's crazy because I wish they would bring this same energy to the protesters, but they won't. They'll focus on one guy who was jeering at a protester. And I would be hard pressed to find this guy probably doing this in everyday life. This is a kid that did something dumb at a protest, and they're going to demonize him for it. But it's not like this guy would go do racist things out at a grocery store. I'm not excusing what he did. I just find it hilarious that he's going to be deemed a racist. He's going to be the face of the frat boys moving forward. And you're not going to see the same treatment for the quote-unquote freedom fighters of the Palestinian protests. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Fatal crash investigation backing up I-40 both directions in Bellevue, and former President Trump threatened with jail time. Israel preparing another assault on Hamas coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 9:26 on Super Talk. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on air. So we were just talking about Trump's new campaign ad. Well, he had another campaign ad that Google banned. It was an ad showing how life was better under Trump. And you can follow this down the rabbit hole. The pro-Donald Trump ad has been censored online on Google. Reporter Andrew Orange posted screenshots of the ad being removed for a policy violation on the tech giant's search results. According to this reporter, and he's a reporter for NBC News. He's not just like some bum. He's got some credentials. Google removed the advertisement with their vague justification of policy violation on Friday. The advertisement was live in Google, but it's been archived since. He pointed out that Make America Great Again, the super PAC, the group behind the advertisement, spent over $15,000 targeting the ad at specific communities in Georgia. And let me play the ad for you, because it doesn't seem like it should be banned. It doesn't seem wild at all, actually. It just seems like it's on point, and maybe it's too on the nose, and that's why they had to ban it. Maybe it hit too hard.
Hello, I'm with the Biden campaign.
Yeah, I voted for Biden last time.
That's fantastic.
Is it? Everything costs more. Food, gas, rent.
Okay, but Biden's helping pay rent for newcomers to America from around the world.
You mean illegal immigrants? I'm struggling to pay my bills, but Biden's paying rent for illegals? They get handouts and I'm paying for it.
But Biden can still count on your vote, right?
Things were better before Biden. I'm voting for Trump.
Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I mean, it's a good ad. It shows a campaign office for Biden-Harris. It's empty. It's cleared out. Nobody's there. This woman is making phone calls, and she's trying to point out or trying to, gain support for Joe. And the person on the phone is like, no. Things were better under Trump. But this has been banned by Google. They banned the ad. So it features the call between a Biden campaign and a voter. And he says, everything costs more: food, rent. The voter complains on the phone. She goes, okay, but Biden's helping pay rent for newcomers from around the world. Yeah, you mean illegal immigrants. That's how so many Americans feel. We're struggling out here. Grocery prices are ridiculous. Insurance prices are through the roof. Rent is through the roof. Mortgage rates through the roof. And this ad was way too on the nose for Google, and they've banned it. Smells a little like election interference. I wonder what the actual justification is, because they gave it a vague policy violation on why it was removed. But it's just another example of big tech putting their thumb on the scale as we head towards November, and everybody needs to push back against it. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$9:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a fatal crash investigation backing up I-40 west of Nashville. Both directions of the interstate will be impacted. This is right there at the Williamson-Cheatham County line. At least one person died in a crash reported around 6:30 this morning near the McCroy Lane exit ramp. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Former President Trump hit with another contempt charge in the hush money trial. Aaron Katersky says the judge accusing him of violating the gag order.
The former president, in remarks, had suggested that the jury is not going to be fair, and the judge took umbrage.
Yeah, the judge said the fines are not serving as a deterrent and threatened to jail Trump. Israel evacuating parts of Rafah ahead of what could be a military assault on Hamas. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed his nation from Jerusalem on it being Holocaust Remembrance Day.
We will defeat our genocidal enemies. Never again is now.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I got the Today Show on in the studio. Did you know Jen Psaki has a new book coming out? It's called Say More. I feel like any press secretary under Biden could have a book coming out titled that. So say more. Please give us some information. A little under an hour ago, Donald Trump was walking into the courtroom in New York City, and he had some comments about Columbia canceling their commencement and the fact that it came out that these protests are backed by Biden donors.
You're going to testify? I have a gag order as to that first question. As you know, they've taken away my constitutional rights, so I'm not allowed to answer that question. This has never happened in this country before. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous case. I did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. Take a look at Greg Jarrett this morning. He went on. Take a look at Andrew McCarthy or Jonathan Turley or Mark Levin. It's like they say there's no case here. And yet the judges gagged me, and I'm not allowed to talk about, I guess, his total conflict. The judge is totally conflicted, and you ought to take a look at it. And I'm not supposed to be talking about it. But I am allowed to say that the judge has a conflict that like nobody's ever had before. You ought to take a look at it. He's taken away my constitutional right to speak. I was in Miami this weekend, and reporters are asking me questions, the same questions like you're asking me. And I have to say I have a gag order. I can't speak about it.
Yeah, and Trump has he got another gag order violation. But he continues, and he talks about Columbia.
Never happened before, ever. Number one. Number two, it's a fake trial. They have no case. And it's been absolutely proven now. They have no case whatsoever. This is Alvin Bragg doing it for political reasons for Biden. This is a Biden trial. He's a crooked president. Now, it just came out, Columbia just canceled their commencement. Axios. Columbia just canceled their commencement. That shouldn't happen. And it also came out that the protesters, many of the protesters, are backed by Biden's donors. Okay? Are you listening, Israel? I hope you're listening, Israel. Hope you're getting smart. But they're backed by Biden donors. That's where the money's coming from. And I'm not surprised at all. There's many other articles, many of them having to do with the gag order and the unconstitutionality having to do with the gag order.
It's amazing. He comes into these are like his new press briefings, right? But before court in the morning. And he's got a stack of news articles that he's just, kind of thumbing through. He holds up the Axios. I love it because it's like they're not going to be able to say Trump made up lies because he just holds it up and he's like, Axios. I got another article here. He holds it up. He's got his sources with him. He brings the receipts. It's fantastic. Heather in Nashville wants to talk about the ad for Trump that Google banned. Heather, you're on Super Talk. What's up?
Well, I just wonder, first of all, how are we supposed to push back against Google? We've got our Google Photos and our work files in Google's Drive. I'm not paying anything for Google, but whoever placed the ad is the one that's going to have to push back. Aren't all political advertising, influencing the election? And, that's what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. And so what is the specific violation? They need to push back and say, okay, what specifically have I violated? And then, okay, well, I can change this word or I can change this image so that it's not violating anymore or whatever, because they don't have a specific. They just don't want that message out there. And it'll probably get a lot of coverage because it's banned, but it won't be going to the people that need to hear it. It'll be going to all of us who are already, listening and already on the Trump.
That's fair. I hope, and I appreciate your call, Heather. I hope that it has the Barbra Streisand effect where more people want to see it because it's banned. John in Lawrenceburg sent a good text, and he said, I bet it was canceled because of using the term illegal immigrants. It's a good catch. It's something that I didn't even catch on my first listen to the ad that Google banned. They said illegal immigrants, which it's a good catch. In 2024, they're newcomers now. This is the ad we were talking about.
Hello, I'm with the Biden campaign.
Yeah. I voted for Biden last time.
That's fantastic.
Is it? Everything costs more. Food, gas, rent.
Okay, but Biden's helping pay rent for newcomers to America from around the world.
You mean illegal immigrants?
Ah, there's the policy violation. You mean illegal immigrants?
I'm struggling to pay my bills, but Biden's paying rent for illegals. They get handouts and I'm paying for it.
But Biden can still count on your vote, right?
Things were better before Biden. I'm voting for Trump.
Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Can't say illegal aliens. I guarantee John in Lawrenceburg pointed that out. He's probably absolutely right. He's probably absolutely right. You can't say illegal immigrants. It's newcomers, undocumented citizens, if you will, migrants. We have to be caring. We have to be thoughtful, right? We don't want to hurt any feelings. But you look at the polling, Trump is way up. There's tons of new polls out today, ABC, Ipsos polls. Trump, I mean, you say what you want about him not being able to campaign. He's turning every single thing he does into a campaign stop, from those morning briefings before court like we just played to being at the Formula One race in Miami over the weekend. The people love him. Everywhere he goes, whether it's a Chick-fil-A or a fire station in New York or it's the Formula One race in Miami, he is surrounded by people who are excited to see him. I couldn't imagine Joe Biden going to any public event currently in America where he would be greeted like Trump. Honestly, is there any one public event that Joe Biden could go to and he would be greeted like Trump? I don't even think Joe Biden could go to a U2 concert and be greeted with as much enthusiasm as Trump is wherever he goes. Everything with Biden has to be so fake and controlled and scripted, and it feels that way. Every video he puts out, whether he's at Wawa or he's at Sheetz, it feels fake. And then videos come out and prove that it's staged. Trump just goes and does Trump things, and he's met with Chants of USA, and people are excited to see him and be a part of that. There's boat parades are back. Did you see the boat parades in Clearwater, Florida?
Yeah.
Did you hear my Boston just slip out?
That was.
Clearwater, Florida.
That was it. Whoa.
Yeah, did you hear that? Sometimes I talk fast and it just sneaks out.
Go park the car.
Clearwater. They're down there in Clearwater. It's a wicked nice place. Wicked, beautiful guy. So they're down there in Clearwater. And you know, there's boat parades. Boat parades are back. Could you imagine seeing a boat parade for Biden?
They don't have boats.
It'd be a boat parade, but it'd be newcomers. It'd be newcomers coming in, and we see those videos all the time. It's a boat parade for Biden. Why are they docking and then running off into the city? It's so weird. It's a big difference between the boat parades. But there's new polling out, and it shouldn't shock anyone. It shouldn't shock anyone. Biden is losing support everywhere.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win, and win big, if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020.
Black support down 23 points.
Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020.
Hispanic voters down 21%.
And among younger voters under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time around. It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. He's losing support in the black community. He's losing support in the Hispanic community. The youth vote doesn't want anything to do with Biden. And we've been feeling this for quite a while. Now the poll numbers are really, really starting to show it. And Biden is losing support among the Democrats' traditional base. The Democrat base is splintering right now. Splintering. Biden has few fans among young adults. And even his long-term Democrat support has fallen off when it comes to black voters and Hispanic voters. Among black Americans in the key under 50 demographic, as well as Hispanics, Biden is losing. While Biden's job approval rating is low, 57% of Americans disapprove of how he's running the country. 57. These poll numbers are shocking. And when it comes to the big issues, the big issues, Trump wins.
We're starting to see some daylight open up on the issues that are most salient to voters in polls. Immigration, economy, crime and public safety. These are all Trump areas. He's got a significant advantage in trust in handling these issues. The only areas where Biden has an advantage, healthcare and protecting abortion rights.
Oh, healthcare and abortion is the only spot where Biden has any support. You want to play the game that we played before? Let's go through the poll numbers and you tell me how much Trump won by. All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. Economy.
15.
Trump by 14. That's a good guess.
Ooh, nice.
That's a good guess. Inflation.
I'll go 20.
Trump by 14.
Okay.
I know. I thought that was a little bit low, too.
Thought it would be higher.
I mean, everybody's buying groceries.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Crime and safety.
Well, now I'm in my head. I'm going to go lower, 10, but that could be higher.
It's 8, plus 8.
Okay.
Plus 8. But this is what they do, right? The Democrats put the blinders on. Like, what are you talking about? I don't see any crime. Healthcare.
8.
Biden by 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Biden. Gotcha.
Biden by 5. Immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border.
And that healthcare one, is that solely relying on the abort?
So it says healthcare. I bet you because of the way Democrats define things, I'm sure abortion falls under healthcare.
Yeah. I would assume.
And then I would think it's probably like the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid talking points.
Yep. Gotcha.
Immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Got to be Trump by 20, right?
Trump by 17.
Okay.
Gun violence.
Biden by 5?
See, I knew you were going to go that route because this is one of the only things they can campaign on is the gun control narrative. Actually, Trump by 3.
Okay. But
Trump
close.
by 3.
Wow.
U.S. world standing.
Trump by 10.
Trump up 7.
Okay.
Israel-Hamas war.
I mean, that happened with Biden, so Trump's going to win that. I mean, Trump by 5?
Trump by 8.
Okay.
All right, here's a fun one. Last one, okay?
Okay.
Protecting democracy.
Ooh. Our democracy, or as Biden would say, our
freedom.
I'm going to go Trump by 10. By 15.
It's dead even.
What?
Dead even on protecting democracy.
Wow.
But that's all they've been campaigning on is we have to protect democracy. We've got to get more abortion. Guns are scary.
Bingo.
And dude weed.
Bingo.
That's it. That's like their
dude weed.
Dude weed. Dude. That's their only campaigns. You can't campaign on the economy.
Well,
we understand that prices again are too low.
That's fair. That's fair.
Come on. When you put it that way.
Prices are too low. This is true. They are. But they can't campaign on the issues. They can't. Does any of these poll numbers shock you? I honestly, when I'm looking at these poll numbers, the one that really jumped out the most to me as like, whoa, that's crazy, is Trump being up by 3 on gun violence. I think that would be an easy layup for the Democrats.
Yep.
Because guns are scary, right? Super scary. So why wouldn't Biden be winning? Trump by 3. Whew. Now, don't worry, though. Don't worry. The Biden campaign has a new strategy on how to fix all of this. Okay? This strategy, I hate to say it, might actually be effective. We'll talk about it next. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got that fatal crash investigation slowing I-40 both directions there in the Bellevue area. Former President Trump threatened with jail time. Israel prepares for another assault on Hamas. And we've got some first responders, search and rescue crews from Middle Tennessee in Texas helping flood victims. And the next big storm threat moving north into Oklahoma. We'll tell you about it at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I tell you what, Ken Weaver, anytime I hear you say Trump threatened with jail time, I get these like excited butterflies in my belly.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that thinks that it would be awesome for Trump to get arrested?
You know, I mean, the way this thing is going, it might just push him right through the roof.
And also, has there ever been a political season where going to jail would actually push you over the finish line?
I don't know if there has been, man.
I don't think there has. It's wild. I just feel like that meme, like crossing my fingers. I wish they would. Biden's campaign has a new strategy.
Oh yeah,
they do. And the strategy is shorter speeches.
We have news this morning from NBC News that the campaign is looking to shorten its speeches.
Oh. Didn't we already see that when he addressed the protests? He gave 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already implementing this strategy.
Biden's general election strategy is less is more. The president's aides are seeking to tighten his pitch to voters with shorter, crisper speeches. To be honest with you, Quentin, I think that's a very smart idea. I think
for everyone.
I appreciate that approach because it is a way for the president to sort of hit with clarity.
He's giving him a lot of credit. That's a way for the president to hit with clarity. He's going to be able to hit with clarity.
Stick his points and move on and not get lost and sidetracked. Give us a little bit more of the scene setting around the thinking there and trying to reimagine the campaign going forward with what you just said and this idea now of the president tighten his grip on his speeches.
I just want to say, he said they're doing this so he doesn't get lost.
Yes.
How does a shortened speech help him get off stage? But this is the strategy.
Look, our campaign believes in quality over quantity.
Okay.
We believe that these touches, these smaller things that are getting directly to the point about what is going on in the stakes of this election are going to be easier for voters to tap into and sort of also go out and say and talk to their friends and family about what's at stake.
Look, we're just trying to figure out a way to campaign from the basement without a pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to find these modern solutions.
Yeah. That darn bird flu, it's taken too long.
I know. Have you seen the bird flu stuff? It's in polar bears now. Hide your kids. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got that fatal crash investigation backing up I-40 there in the Williamson at Cheatham County line. At least one person died in that crash, reported around 6:30 this morning near the McCrory Lane exit ramp. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Well, the judge in the New York City criminal trial of former President Trump has found him in contempt of court again. Trump spoke in the hallway of the courthouse before going into court today, before learning about the new fine.
The judge has gagged me, and I'm not allowed to talk about, I guess, his total conflict.
Judge Juan Merchan ruling that Trump violated the gag order around the case for comments he made, suggesting the jury might not be fair. Aaron Katursky's there in Manhattan.
It's a $1,000 fine for the one violation, and the judge puts the defendant on notice that if appropriate and warranted, additional violations, future violations of the gag order will be punishable by incarceration. So the judge is not mincing any words here.
Gaza war update. Israeli military officials urging Palestinians to evacuate parts of the southern Gaza city of Rafah ahead of an expected ground offensive by Israeli forces into the city, where more than 1 million civilians have sought shelter during the war which Hamas started. Right now, search and rescue crews from Nashville and Williamson County are in Texas to help flood victims. Here's Samara Theodore.
Things have really begun to dry out, calm down. The water's beginning to recede into the San Jacinto River just behind me. However, after yesterday's rain, we could see more cresting occurring and more swelling of the rivers in the days to come.
Yeah, and right now, central Oklahoma and southern Kansas under threat of long track tornadoes this afternoon into tonight. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Are you coming to the steeplechase with us on Saturday, Mac?
Don't know for sure yet.
All right. Fingers crossed. I know you don't like hanging out with me after work hours.
Yeah, I get enough of you from Monday through Friday. Come on.
It's going to be awesome. Murphy's going to be there.
Fun.
I haven't done it yet.
I was going to say, you've never gone. I went the last 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, because they keep using you in the promo
I know,
photo.
I keep seeing that.
I know, it says, join Chris Hand and Matt Murphy. And then it's a picture of Mac and Murphy. I don't be like, that's not me. It's not me. But yeah, we're gonna have fun. 83rd annual steeplechase. And we have a VIP tent. If you want to get in on it with us, 997WTN.com for tickets. We're going to have food from Famous Dave's, drink from Jack Daniels. All you have to bring is yourself and your crew, and we got everything else covered.
Yeah, open bar.
Open bar.
Yeah, it's fun. And Chris won't be indulging, so have an extra one for him.
Yeah. No, I don't drink.
Yeah.
If I was still drinking, old Chris would have shut that bar down.
That would have been nerve-wracking.
For the record.
I think we're good.
Yeah. This is a good thing.
This is a good thing.
This is a good thing. No, listen, I am fine with everybody drinking. I don't care. It's like, enjoy yourself. Let's have some fun.
Have some fun.
And we are going to have some fun. 83rd annual steeplechase. So I'm looking forward to it. It's my first annual. And I want you to be there. 997WTN.com. Mike in Spring Hill wants to talk about that Trump ad. Mike, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. Excuse me. Love your all show. I've never called in before, but I texted a bunch. But I also want to mention something real quick about Joe Biden shortening his speeches.
Yes.
Isn't that just proof that he doesn't have a whole lot to talk about?
Fair. Or that they don't trust him to go down any side roads.
Exactly. But you had a lady call in and say, how can we push back against Google?
Yep.
And I think the way to push back against Google is to download the ad and post it on your Facebook page. Post it on Twitter. Just make it go viral because that gets the word out. So if you could let us know where we can download that ad at, that would be great.
So I saw it on Twitter. I've sent it to a couple people. I'll retweet it. So if you go to my Twitter page, at Chris Hand on Air, you'll be able to find it.
Perfect.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate the call, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great-
Yep. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to hang up on him. Be rude. And you said that Google has reversed course, actually.
Yeah, I was just looking up the story. Yeah, it looks like you said, received a bunch of backlash. They took it down for what they cited as a privacy violation.
Which is so weird. What's a privacy violation?
Yeah, they did not make clear what that violation was.
Whose privacy?
Yeah, didn't say.
The Biden campaign's privacy?
Yeah.
Please respect our privacy while we destroy America.
So a day after the ad was initially removed, this is all from freepress.com. A day after the ad was initially removed, Make America Great Again Incorporated re-uploaded it to Google, and the tech giant appears to have reversed the course after their backlash. So they've kept it up.
Oh, that's nice. Once they got called on their BS.
I was about to say, yep, just get loud, make some noise.
It's really nice that we have to police the companies in our country to just do the right thing and publicly shame them to make them do it. Isn't that nice? It's just such a joke. Bill Maher over the weekend, he got schooled on Donald Trump. Kellyanne Conway was on there.
Missed that.
They're doing the whole Trump's going to be a dictator, right? So they're doing that song and dance, and Bill Maher says to Kellyanne Conway, Trump hasn't conceded 2020 yet, and Kellyanne Conway goes off.
He'll never leave, and there are people on the right pushing. The American Conservative magazine.
He hasn't conceded the 2020 election yet. What do you mean? How you make it sound like it's a crazy idea? He has not conceded.
You hear the seals? Oh.
Conceded the one he did lose.
I'll concede it because it's very obvious who the president is.
This is where she goes full scorched earth. She goes, I'll concede it. I'll concede 2020 because it's obvious who the president is.
Very obvious. Yes. Joe Biden is the president, presiding over 20% increases in gas and groceries, presiding over 22% increases in health care, 36% in car insurance. I mean, people can't afford the natural accoutrements of an adult life, which is why young people have abandoned Biden. So it's very clear Donald Trump is not the president. Our economy sucks. The border is open. 8.8 million people came here. That's larger than the population of 39 states. It's insane. We know who the president is.
We will get to all these issues.
He has no response. You hear him? You hear him throughout all that rant from Kellyanne Conway? We'll get to that. I'm sure you will, Bill. I'm sure you will. And as far as Biden and his shorter speeches, that's the move. Did you hear what he said at the Medal of Freedom recipient speech?
I congratulate the Presidential Freedom Medal recipients and their families.
Did you hear what he said?
What?
Freedom of Medal recipients.
Oh. Presidential Freedom Medal recipients and...
I love that Freedom of Medal.
Freedom of Medal, baby.
Freedom of Medal, Biden 2024. This is why they're shortening this. Kamala Harris is doing her best job to campaign. You know she's the best female vice president we've ever had. Put some respect on that name. So she's on a Wisconsin news show. Right before they get to Kamala Harris, they point out that the biggest voters, the biggest issues for voters in Wisconsin, Trump is trusted on those issues. This is right before they get to Kamala Harris.
The economy, immigration, and border security are the most important issues ahead of November, and by double digits, trust Trump over Biden on both.
Yeah, and of course they do. Of course. If immigration and the economy are the biggest issues, yes, everybody trusts Trump more than that. Kamala Harris gets in, and she says, listen, me and Joe, we're putting our focus on issues that mean the most.
So these are the issues that are an example of the fact that President Biden and I have put in the hard work to focus on significant and specific issues that have been weighing folks down. There's still more work to be done, including what we intend to do, God willing, in the second term, which includes affordable housing and making housing more affordable, not only for first-time home buyers, but for renters.
Oh, so if they get a second term, they're going to make housing more affordable. They're focusing on the issues that matter to you. It's amazing because during their first term, what they've done is they've made housing completely unaffordable, along with groceries and other things. The average family under Joe Biden has spent more than $8,000 a year on transportation, more than $4,000 a year on energy, more than almost $4,000 extra a year on housing, almost $3,500 more a year on food than they did under Trump. And now Kamala Harris says they're going to focus on the affordability stuff. Isn't that nice? Once they've destroyed the economy, now they'll focus on affordable housing.
Including what we intend to do, God willing, in the second term, which includes affordable housing and making housing more affordable, not only for first-time home buyers, but for renters.
I wonder if she's talking for American citizens or for the newcomers. Because I have a hard time believing that Kamala Harris is going to, and Joe Biden are going to be focused on making things easier for you if they get a second term. She says, hey, the stakes are very high. And if you put up a split screen between the Trump administration and the Biden administration, well, it's very clear the differences between the two.
Well, there are a lot of issues that are at play in November, and the stakes are very high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that includes the fact that, look, you can pull up a split screen. We're on TV. Just pull up a split screen. And on the one side, in President Biden and our administration, you see competence. You see a steady hand.
Oh.
You see someone who cares about the American people, and we have gone about solving problems.
They've gone about solving problems. You see somebody with competence and a steady hand. Somebody who is so competent and so steady, mind you, that his own campaign has deployed a strategy to give shorter speeches. There's so much competence, it's overflowing.
In President Biden and our administration, you see competence. You see a steady hand. You see someone who cares about the American people, and we have gone about solving problems.
What problems has the Biden administration solved? I mean that honestly. Please, anyone, 615-737-9986. What problems has the Biden administration solved? Oh, I got one. The Taliban didn't have enough weapons before Joe Biden's presidency, so he solved that problem. He solved that.
On the other hand, you can see complete chaos. The former president has openly praised dictators and said he'll be a dictator on day one. The former president has said that he will come back and essentially weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go. So I don't know which is the bigger lie. What do you think is the bigger lie? The fact that Joe Biden is competent and has a steady hand and that they're solving problems for Americans, or that Trump is going to come in and be a dictator on day one? Pushing the same tired lie from a Hannity town hall that was a joke.
On the other hand, you can see complete chaos. The former president has openly praised dictators and said he'll be a dictator on day one. The former president has said that he will come back and essentially weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies.
Isn't it a joke? Because the former president, Trump, has been threatened with jail time for violating another gag order. He's had his First Amendment stamped out. He's not allowed to speak. He's gonna weaponize the Department of Justice to go after his political opponents. It's like, spoiler alert, guys, you already did that. You did that already. What's the bigger lie? That Joe Biden is competent or that Donald Trump is bringing chaos? Ridiculous. But this is where we are in America. The left will blatantly lie to you to your face. They'll do it again and again and again. They'll ban Trump's campaign ads until they're called out for it. They'll lose in all the polls. They'll get so nervous about Joe Biden talking that they'll say, hey, we have to shorten your campaign speeches. And there's new analysis out there that the blue wall is crumbling for Joe Biden and the Democrats under the weight of Donald Trump's comeback. And this is why they have Kamala Harris out there, doing the media tours in Wisconsin, because that's a big part of the blue wall. You got to have Wisconsin. You got to have Michigan. You got to have Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's happening for them this time around. The blue wall appears to be crumbling. This, according to Breitbart, the states that are imperative for Biden due to Trump's surge in the Sun Belt states of Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina, Biden needs Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, North Carolina. Biden needs Michigan, Wisconsin. And there's a clear divide between the blue wall states where the polling is close and the Sun Belt states where it isn't. For the first time in 2024, Trump holds a narrow lead in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Tuesday's Emerson poll last week showed. Previous swing state polling showed Trump leading Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, with only Michigan leaning towards Biden. That has since changed. 7 states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina, will decide the presidency. And people are nervous. The New York Times, they're nervous. If Trump wins one or more of Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin, Biden's chances of getting 270 electoral votes become very slim. I have to ask, is there a chance that Trump gets swept out of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin? I doubt it. I mean, listen to the news from Wisconsin themselves. The biggest issues to Wisconsin voters.
The economy, immigration, and border security are the most important issues ahead of November. And by double digits, trust Trump over Biden on both.
The biggest issues are the economy and the border in Wisconsin. And by double digits, they trust Trump more than Biden. This is not looking good for the Democrats. And their game plan is shorten Joe's speeches. Don't let him talk. That's the game plan. Campaign from the basement without a pandemic. Because all the polling is trending towards Trump. All of it. It's crazy. But I don't think there's anything crazier than this.
In President Biden and our administration, you see competence. You see a steady hand. You see someone who cares about the American people, and we have gone about solving problems.
So, the gaslighting continues from the Democrat Party. Constantly with the gaslighting. Unbelievable. It's what problems has Joe Biden fixed? Lindsay on the Members Nutrition text line said, remember he cured cancer, Chris. Fair.
Oh, dang. How did we forget that?
We forgot about that. We did. It's 10:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. You know Paul. He joined us on the show Friday. He is a great guy. And when you meet with Paul, you'll meet the same guy that you heard on my show on Friday. If you missed that, the podcast is up on Apple and Spotify. We talked about all the things from BRIC stations to the Federal Reserve and so much more in between. But if you need a guy that you can trust for your financial planning, who else can you trust more than Paul Winkler? Paul's been running the Investor Coaching Show on Saturday here on WTN for years. We run it every Saturday from 3 to 6, but you may not know that he didn't start that show until he studied under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's how Paul cut his teeth in the industry. That's how he got his feet wet, and that's pretty cool. He's become an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now, and this is why my wife and I work with Paul. because he knows a lot. He can break down so much, and he holds himself to the highest level of fiduciary status. As such, Paul wants to make sure I tell you I get paid when I do these commercials. I like the transparency. I like the honesty. And that's what you get from Paul Winkler, transparency and honesty. And you'll never have the feeling of blind trust, that awful pit in your stomach of blind trust, because Paul's team will educate you every single step of the way. They'll look at your whole financial picture, and then they'll help you make decisions. And on top of that, they don't work on commission. Paul's team does nothing on commission, so the advice that they give to you is for you and not for them. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. That's all it takes to get the ball rolling downhill. Go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
The district attorneys of both El Paso
Good news, drivers on I-40 west of Nashville. That crash has been cleared there just west of Bellevue. Got another contempt of court fine for former President Trump in the hush money trial. We'll tell you what else the judge says at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Where do the contempt of court fines go? Do they just go to the court system?
I'm not sure.
Can we set up a charity for these things to go to?
Yeah, call it Ken Weaver.
I feel like he should do something where it's like every time I get fined, I'll donate an equal amount of money to, kids or veterans or something. Let's up the positivity on the fines. You know what I mean? Did you hear what Maxine Waters said?
Oh, I can't wait.
She's got another unhinged conspiracy theory when it comes to right-wing organizations. This is what she was saying on MSNBC the other day.
This is a man who we'd better be careful about. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the Justice Department and I'm going to ask the president to tell us what they're going to do to protect this country against violence if he loses. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with. who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack.
Far right-wing organizations are training up in the hills somewhere, figuring out which communities they're going to attack. I got that right? That's what she said?
That's what she said, man.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Against Biden if he loses. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack.
I feel like she's confusing right-wing organizations with Antifa.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The same ones that are infiltrating all the college campus protests.
Now, the same ones that she encouraged a few years ago to, get in people's faces.
You got to push back on them. That's what she said. Push back on them and get in their face. Unbelievable. This is what she ignores is what's happening on college campuses. Luckily, Trump doesn't ignore what's happening on college campuses. He's actually using these as his campaign ads.
President Biden's administration is facing pressure to step up its response to anti-Semitic incidents on college campuses across the country.
How do you explain his silence this week?
I understand their passion.
Jewish leaders and lawmakers from both parties are accusing President Biden's administration of taking a lax approach.
Why hasn't the president been more forceful in talking about the protests?
They have a point.
We've seen anti-Semitism on university campuses, in the public square, and in threats against Jewish citizens. This is my pledge to you. We will confront anti-Semitism. We will stamp out prejudice. We will condemn hatred. We will bear witness, and we will act. When I get back into office, I will put every single university and college president on notice. The American taxpayer will not subsidize the creation of terrorist sympathizers on American soil. I will defend our friend and ally, the State of Israel, like nobody has ever defended it before. I will always stand with the Jewish people.
I mean, here's the thing. This entire protest has been a campaign ad for Trump, and the Democrats say nothing about it. Maxine Waters, she's more worried about the right-wing organizations that are training up in the hills somewhere. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, good news, drivers. They have cleared that crash 40 eastbound right past McCrory Lane. It's going to be just west of Bellevue this morning. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Another contempt of court fine for former President Trump in that hush money trial in New York City. Trump hit with a $1,000 fine this morning for violating the gag order. The judge says he questioned whether the jury can be fair, and the judge also threatening jail time. And while search and rescue crews from Nashville and Williamson County help flood victims in Texas, now Jim Ryan says the threat of severe weather is moving north.
It's been 5 years since the Federal Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma issued an alert for a, quote, high risk of severe weather. But it's done that today, warning that conditions are ripe for intense long-track tornadoes from south of Wichita, Kansas, down to the Texas-Oklahoma border. The last time a high-risk advisory went out was May 20th, 2019. Oklahoma saw more than 24 tornadoes that day.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know the guys at Busy Bee. We talk about them all the time. I have been practicing and preaching, more preaching that you need to get your annual maintenance. I hadn't really been practicing it, and I found out the hard way that when you don't get your annual maintenance, you are waiting for a problem to pop up. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I had a problem pop up because I didn't get my annual maintenance. I had dirty coils. I'm ashamed. Luckily, when I called my friends at Busy Bee, I'm a member of the Beehive Club, so I had front of the line service. They were at my home in less than an hour. My friend Joe Henry came out, totally cleaned my unit. We were up and running in less than an hour from when he got there. If you want this kind of service, you have to become a member of the Beehive Club. When you become a member of the Beehive Club, it's just $99, and you receive the following: 3 annual tune-ups, one for your heating, one for your cooling, one for your plumbing. You get 10% discount on all repairs, that priority front-of-the-line service, and $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000. Plus, no overtime or holiday fees and exclusive Beehive member promotions. It will pay for itself to become a Beehive member. Plus, they always have the best financing options, no interest if paid in full within 15 months with approved credit. And for your heating and cooling, you can get free 10-year parts and labor warranty on select new efficiency heating and cooling units. That's regularly a $2,000 value. And new customers will receive a free 1-year Beehive membership for 1 unit with purchase of a whole air duct cleaning. This is the place. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you need somebody to come help you with your HVAC system, with your plumbing, call my friends at Busy Bee. They'll always come see you on Saturday. They have those convenient availability hours for you. They're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com. .36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You know things are going bad for the Biden administration when they have to lean on celebrity endorsements. And it's like really bad celebrities. Really bad. Did you see what happened at the press briefing on Friday? Did you see? You didn't see it? Do you watch the press briefing?
Sometimes.
I try to.
It's pretty entertaining.
I get angry. I like to get angry. They had a very special guest on Friday at the White House press briefing. Mark Hamill.
Hey.
I don't know why. He came in looking so awkward. He had the Biden aviators on. He did. What? And you've seen Mark on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
He's how would you put it? Unhinged. Unhinged is how I would put it. He's got a severe case of TDS, the Trump derangement syndrome, and he's oftentimes going after Trump, and so he went to the White House and he met with Joe Biden, and they did the May the 4th thing.
May the 4th be with you. Always.
Yep, that's Joe Biden and Mark Hamill doing their May the 4th video. And Karine Jean-Pierre trotted him out for the press briefing.
There's no introduction that really is needed here. I have a special guest, as you can see. Mark Hamill has decided to join us on this wonderful Friday, and I am really excited to turn it over to Mr. Hamill. Here we go.
How many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands?
No, it's a terrible idea to have Mark Hamill in the press briefing. You know, I will say this: it's not like anybody expects to get any real info out of the press briefing, but it was excruciatingly bad on Friday.
Well, I called him Mr. President. He said, "You can call me Joe," and I said, "Can I call you Joe B1 Kenobi?"
Can I call you Joe B1 Kenobi? No, please don't. Please don't. Can I call you Joe B1 Kenobi? It was over quick. Thank God. Thank goodness. It was quite bad. But right after he left, Karine Jean-Pierre got extra cringy.
No one ever claps for me when I get off the podium. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Nobody really claps for your administration in general. But there are reasons. Biden's got a new idea. He's opening up Obamacare to illegal aliens that are members of DACA, the Dreamers. This is unbelievable. Joe Biden is opening the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, to illegal aliens enrolled in the Dreamers program, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. On Friday, Biden issued a rule that will open Obamacare rolls to some DACA illegal aliens enrolled in the program. Obama first created DACA via executive order, shielding more than 1 million illegals from deportation through the years. And now Joe Biden wants to give them free health insurance, once again proving that the illegal aliens in the country come way, way, way ahead of you and your family. Biden said in a statement, nearly 12 years ago, President Obama and I announced the DACA program to allow our young people to live and work in the only country they've called home. Since then, DACA has provided more than 800,000 Dreamers with the ability to work lawfully, pursue an education, and contribute their immense talents to make our communities better and stronger. I'm proud of the contributions of the Dreamers to our country and committed to providing Dreamers the support they need to succeed. That's why I previously directed the Department of Homeland Security to take all appropriate actions to preserve and fortify DACA. And that's why today we're taking this historic action to ensure that DACA recipients have the same access to health care through the Affordable Care Act as their neighbors. If they're contributing their immense talents to making their communities better and stronger, why do they need a handout? Biden first announced this initiative to score the DACA illegal aliens tax breaks via Obamacare in April of last year. At the time, Mayorkas praised the move. J.D. Vance, Josh Hawley, and more House Republicans have lobbied Biden to drop that plan last year. But, the administration is moving forward anyway. They always say this. They always say, the immigrants make us stronger. And, I don't know. I don't know. Does migration boost the economy? Larry Fink actually says migration is bad for productivity and wealth. Wall Street's most influential mega investor says that migration is actually making it difficult for developed countries to embrace the high-tech productivity boosting technologies that will raise the income of ordinary people. He said this at a pro-globalist event hosted by the World Economic Forum in Saudi Arabia. He said, I can argue in the developed countries, the big winners are the countries that have shrinking populations. He said that's something most people never talk about. We always used to think a shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries like China and Japan that have xenophobic and anti-immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in. They have shrinking demographics. These countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI technology if a promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will be able to elevate the standard of living in these countries, the standard of living for individuals, even with shrinking populations. In contrast, he says, countries with expanding populations need to focus on basic issues of education and the rule of law, said Fink. And he oversees $10 trillion worth of investments worldwide. He said, so for those countries that have a rising population, the answer will be education. And for those countries that do not have a foundation of rule of law or education, that's where the economic divide is going to get more and more extreme. So here's a guy that has a lot of money invested. And he's thinking, no, mass migration is actually hard to profit off of. And realizing it's backfiring and he's regretting his choices. It's amazing, isn't it? And we see the problems from the wide open border. Every time we turn around, whether it's crime, we see that in so many areas. They see it in Texas nonstop.
The district attorneys of both El Paso and Doña Ana County say they are seeing a definite rise in crimes involving migrants. And both men say their offices are ready to handle the growing number of migrant criminals.
Wasn't just last week Biden telling us that crime is down when he had his North Carolina speech? He had a campaign stop in North Carolina. He told us crime is down. Well, I don't know. It seems like everywhere you turn, crime is up.
Alleged criminals, rather. Sunday on ABC7 Extra with Mark Ross, El Paso District Attorney Bill Hicks, and Doña Ana County District Attorney Gerald Byers discuss how their offices are prosecuting migrant crimes like the March 21st riot and border breach.
This is state prosecution. This is not about immigration. Our perspective is we're looking at it from the standpoint of the humanitarian aspect of people not being treated like property, and other criminal individuals and criminal organizations profiting from manipulating these individuals as if they're some type of chattel property.
Oh, yeah, you're manipulating these individuals. People don't want them to come. They don't have to come. And residents all over the country are not happy that they're coming. In Chicago, there's a plan to move illegals out of downtown ahead of the DNC. And residents aren't exactly thrilled with this.
Strong reactions tonight from residents after learning Mayor Brandon Johnson is considering plans to open a new temporary migrant shelter in their Southside neighborhood.
Who wouldn't want a new temporary migrant shelter in their neighborhood? And temporary probably means permanent, and new probably just means dilapidated. It's gonna be chaos.
Neighborhood.
And he don't know where to put him. Why would you put him in our neighborhood? Well, why don't we go by your house?
All of that money that he's giving them, we've been begging for years.
We've lived here our whole life. We have a lot of bad things that happen here already. We do not need this. We just do not.
Located just blocks away from Guaranteed Rate Field, the proposed building near Canal and Pershing is in the city's 11th ward.
Look at where it's at. It's hid in the back. Why is that a good location? We have no amenities here as it is.
Alderwoman Nicole Lee issued this letter to constituents yesterday saying she was notified earlier this week and met with the mayor on Thursday. She says the city wants to move migrants staying at the Standard Club near the Dirksen Federal Building to her ward before the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah, they got to get them out. You got to get them out of the hotels and into the shelters that they're proposing in Chicago.
This is just insane. It doesn't make sense. Keep them downtown. Keep them. I don't know. I mean, this is not our problem.
No, and I would push back on what that one resident said. Keep them downtown. Send them home. Send them home. In fact, a majority of Americans approve of a Trump plan for mass deportations. And it's because people are tired of seeing these migrants, illegal aliens, shuffled around their cities and neighborhoods.
The alderwoman made it clear she is against the proposed plan, citing safety and location concerns and lack of justification for the move. She says, quote, "As our city grapples with this unprecedented influx of migrants, it is crucial that we handle the migrant crisis safely, responsibly, and with full transparency. The well-being of our communities must be the top priority."
If I was Trump, I'm leaning in on these big cities. I'm going to campaign in Chicago. I'm going to these lower income neighborhoods. And I'm saying, listen, the Democrats have turned on you. They don't care about you, and they put migrants ahead of you. And they put migrants ahead of every American citizen because illegal aliens are far more important than you or I.
All we want to do is house our veterans, and they're getting kicked to the side for the people who didn't do anything for this country. Yet those men and women honorably served. They should be coming first.
Yeah, they should be coming first, but they don't. Not in Joe Biden's America. And so when you look at the biggest issues on the board, it's the open border, it's inflation, and it's foreign wars. And Joe Biden fails every step of the way. The Democrats fail us every step of the way. Doug Burgum was saying, when you look at the big issues that people are thinking about, the Democrats fail every step of the way.
And open borders is something the majority of Americans are very concerned about. Inflation touches every single American. The wars that are breaking out around the world. So, in places where President Trump had success, Joe Biden's having failure. Where President Trump was strong, Joe Biden's been weak. And so that's what people are actually thinking about.
Yeah, and that's what people are actually seeing. And that's why I think, as long as this election is secure and there's no questions to this election, I feel like it's got to be runaway for Trump at this point, right? Doug Burgum talked about that as well. He said, listen, I want to see Kamala Harris certify the election for Trump. And I didn't realize that was on a wish list of mine, too, because I'm just looking forward to that now that he said it. But we need to make sure it's secure. That way there's no question.
Well, I'm looking forward to next January when Vice President Harris certifies the election for Donald Trump. I mean, the American people are the ones that get to decide these elections. But for both parties and for all Americans, we've got to make sure that every county, every precinct is beyond reproach, that everybody can be confident in our country. In North Dakota, we're doing that. Nobody's questioning the results of an election in any county or precinct in North Dakota. It can be done. It's done all over the nation, except in some cases we've got we could have a handful of counties that this election could turn on again, and we've just got to make sure that when it's done, both sides feel good about how it was counted.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that there's going to be any chance that at the end of this election, both sides are going to feel good about it, that it was done legitimately? I think that ship has sailed. I think no matter who wins and who loses, one side is going to be screaming shenanigans. But hey, listen, I know who I want. I want the guy that's vowing to deport nearly 20 million illegal aliens that have entered the U.S. And it seems like even people in blue cities like Chicago and in New York, they want the guy who's going to deport the illegal aliens. Trump has promised to deport nearly 20 million illegals. This is a promise that people want to see enacted. This is what people want. Because it's absolute chaos if we don't get this done. The country is not going to look the same if we can't get this done. And there's only one guy promising to do it. Trump. I don't know if anybody else has the spine to do what needs to be done other than Trump. So the Democrats can shuffle their migrants around the city and do what they do. They move the homeless in San Francisco when Xi Jinping comes to town. They're going to move the migrants for the DNC. They're going to shuffle them around, clean up the city, make it look nice for a day or two. And then it'll be back to chaos. We need to get the guy in here that's going to fix things once and for all. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Fatal shooting in Nashville, and a report says a toddler was handling the gun. This story and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Mac, you got a sports podcast coming out anytime soon?
I do. I believe I'll have Ron Slay on the podcast this week.
Ron Slay?
Yep. Talk some NBA playoffs, maybe do a little NFL, but yeah.
Are you going to cover the Tom Brady roast?
I think I got it covered a little bit, right?
So you watched it?
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it?
I loved it, man. I was so pleasantly surprised.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of this stuff nowadays is just too many people beating around the bush.
This is what I worry. I like Brady. I worried that it'd be watered down and woke.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it watered down and woke?
No. Not at all. Not at all. Seriously. Every sort of joke was made in the books. Every word was used that you think is canceled. It was used on Netflix.
Oh.
It was all there. A lot of good comedians.
Who was the best?
I like this guy, Tony Highcliffe. I thought he went off for 2 minutes on everyone. What's her name? There's a really good... It's a good woman stand-up who went on and killed it as well. Kevin Hart obviously was great. Julian Edelman had some good moments. It was good. It was good, man.
All right, I might check it out.
Yeah, I was about to say, you'd like it, especially as a Patriots guy. It was good. It was all your favorite cast of characters. Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun.
Was Troy Brown there?
Maybe. I should know that. I don't know. I think the McCourty twins were there. There were some legends.
Was Brewski in the building?
Think so.
All right.
It was good.
If Brewski
I don't think Vrabel was there, though.
No.
I would have liked Vrabel to be there.
And he has free time now.
I was about to say, yeah, he's not doing anything.
You don't have anything to do. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. And right now in Nashville, Metro Police are investigating a fatal shooting on 16th Avenue North yesterday morning as accidental. Fox 17 says a 25-year-old woman died after being shot with her own gun. She was visiting an apartment and that a 3-year-old was handling the gun at the time. Now to the New York City courtroom where former President Trump's hush money trial enters a third week.
Former President Trump back in a New York City courtroom this morning for his continuing hush money trial. And right off the bat, Trump was hit with another contempt charge for violating the gag order in the case, his 10th violation. The judge saying, quote, the $1,000 fines per violation are not serving as a deterrent and threatened to jail Trump moving forward. The latest violation, Trump's statements aimed at the jury.
The former president, in remarks, had suggested that the jury is not going to be fair, and the judge took umbrage because he had gone through an extensive jury selection process.
ABC's Aaron Katersky. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to hide payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels over an alleged affair, which Trump denies. Testimony for the day now underway. On the stand, the Trump Organization's former comptroller will detail the invoices, the money related to the hush money case.
As Derek Dennis reporting, new developments in Gaza. Jordana Miller says Hamas has refused to accept the latest ceasefire offer. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu isn't wasting any time with terrorists believed to be cornered in Rafah.
The Israeli army asking Gazans in eastern Rafah to move north in what it's calling a, quote, limited scope evacuation. The IDF says it's dropping leaflets, sending texts, and posting messages in Arabic, urging an estimated 100,000 Gazan civilians to move to the expanded Al-Mawasi area. Civilians given no deadline for the evacuation. The move indicates the IDF is preparing for a military assault on Hamas in eastern Rafah. That after attempts to reach a ceasefire have stalled again.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You know, the Biden administration says that crime is down. Joe Biden himself says crime is down. But anybody with eyes that can see looks around and goes, doesn't really appear that way. In fact, I tweeted out yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it Saturday? It was one of the days. That there was a baby shower in New York City.
I saw that you posted this.
A baby shower where one person was shot and killed, 3 others were injured. I thought, geez, at a baby shower? Did a little bit of extra digging. Authorities said that this happened at 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Who has a baby shower at 1:30 in the morning? At what point does it stop being a baby shower? I feel like a good baby shower is like in the 10 to 2 window.
Yeah, midday.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like anything past dinner time, we're out of baby shower territory.
Yeah.
And we've had 4 kids. You know what my wife was doing when she was pregnant at 1:30 a.m. in the morning with every child? Didn't matter. Doesn't matter the day.
I assume sleeping or trying to.
Trying to uncomfortably fall asleep at 1:30 in the morning.
That's good.
Don't you feel like that's a weird headline though? I feel bad for the guy that lost his life, but
absolutely.
How can you classify that as a baby shower?
Yeah, we gotta have a cutoff here.
At 1:30 in the morning. It's not
yeah, like you said, we get past 5 or 6 o'clock. This is now a new event.
Yes.
This is now the after
has
party.
Transitioned into something else. Yeah, anything after dinner time, I don't think you can qualify as a baby shower.
But that headline, that's
the headline got me.
Yeah. Classic.
1:30 in the morning. The headlines, they always do that. But there's a bunch of crime in blue cities. The Biden administration says that nothing's going on. Everything's down. In fact, the D.C. mayor, Muriel Bowser, she was scolding the media because they didn't cover the fact that D.C. went a week without a murder.
I think that's really a question for our friends in the media. I know you all have been waiting. You didn't report that we had over a week where violence was down, homicide didn't happen. I know you didn't report that, but that's okay. I'll tell you.
Oh, thank you for telling us that you had a week without a murder. Is this a huge accomplishment in big blue cities? We had a week without a murder. It didn't last long in D.C. In fact, a devastating incident unfolded Friday night in D.C., resulted in the tragic death of a 3-year-old girl who was struck by gunfire inside of a vehicle. Is the mayor of D.C. going to come out and say anything against this? The child was caught in crossfire of bullets being fired in the area. It was around 9 o'clock on Friday night. Tragically, this 3-year-old girl was shot and killed. Initial reports suggested that she was not an intentional target, but was inadvertently struck by stray bullets. Toddler was transported to a nearby firehouse. She was provided aid. She was airlifted to a children's hospital in critical condition, but was pronounced dead after succumbing to her injuries. Authorities are currently conducting an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the fatal shooting. But are you going to hear the mayor scold the media for not covering this one fairly?
I think that's really a question for our friends in the media. I know you all have been waiting. You didn't report that we had over a week where violence was down, homicide didn't happen. I know you didn't report that, but that's okay. I'll tell you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for telling us. And now you have toddlers being shot and killed in your city. It's disgusting. And the Biden administration will gaslight you and say crime is down everywhere. In Chicago, a police officer was murdered. And on Thursday, Chicago Mayor's Brandon Johnson the press tried to ask him questions about it, and they wanted to know if he had a statement. They were trying to get a statement about an arrest made in connection to the death of this police officer. And they posted a video on Twitter. The Chicago mayor, instead of answering questions for the press, quite literally ran away full sprint.
Hey, Mayor. Mayor, can you please talk to us really fast?
He ran
Mayor, we just want
away
to
from
comment
the
about
press.
the arrest last night in relation to Officer Weska.
Mr. Mayor, why would you run from us?
Ran away and
He just
sped
ran.
off. That's accountability. Said, Mayor, we just want to comment about the arrest last night in relation to Officer Huesca, added CBS Chicago's Darius Johnson. And the car pulls away. The reporters are left in disbelief. So you get these big blue mayors scolding the media and also running away from the media. That's what they do. According to Chicago police, 22-year-old Xavier Tate was arrested and charged with the murder of Chicago police officer Louis Huesca on Wednesday. He was accused of shooting and killing the officer on April 21st in Chicago and charged with one count of first-degree murder, aggravated vehicular hijacking, and possession of a stolen firearm. According to NBC5, the family of the officer requested that neither the mayor nor Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker attend the funeral for the fallen officer because they felt that the politicians had given offenders in general too many chances. On Friday, the mayor said that he did plan to attend the funeral despite the family's wishes until he spoke with the slain officer's mother. He said it was important for me to hear from the family directly, but once I had a direct conversation with the officer's mother, that's when we made the commitment to honor her request. So at least he's not going to do what the governor of New York did when Kathy Hochul showed up to the funeral of a fallen police officer anyway and was kicked out. The Fraternal Order of Police, John Castanera, said Huesca told his family that he did not believe the mayor had the officers' backs and that they were all based on conversation he had with his brother and sister about his job, about the city, about the policies, about the excuses from the politicians for criminal behavior. And that's what we get from a lot of these politicians are excuses. Or we get gaslighting and they tell us that crime is down. Governor Newsom, he's got a weird flex for his city. He's bragging about record tourism dollars in California. And he shot a bizarre selfie video from atop of the Golden Gate Bridge.
So I'm up here on the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, a testament to America's greatness, California's greatness, and we couldn't be more proud to announce today record-breaking tourism numbers in the state of California. Over $150 billion of tourism spend, unprecedented in our state's history. If you haven't had the chance to see the magnificence, the beauty of our great state, it's time to visit California.
Oh, it's time to visit California, he says. It's weird. Record tourism dollars in California. So I wondered how they broke this down. How do you get record tourism in a state that people are fleeing en masse, where people defecate in the streets, drug use is rampant, crime is rampant? How do you get record tourism? I mean, every viral video I see from California are people smashing out windows and stealing things from tourists. And so I was wondering, how do you get record tourism dollars? Well, interestingly enough, California, they divvy up their tourism dollars like this: gross receipts derived from expenditures to and or within California by people who, one, travel at least 50 miles from home one way for purposes other than commuting to work or school, or two, have an overnight accommodation as part of the travel, regardless of the distance or purpose traveled. Is Gavin Newsom saying that they have record tourism dollars because of the illegal immigration? I mean, we know that they put the illegal aliens up in hotels. They're definitely traveling at least 50 miles from home one way for purposes other than commuting to work or school. Are they counting the money coming in from illegal aliens as tourism dollars? I don't think there's any other way to explain how California could have record tourism. Just based on their own metrics, gross receipts derived from expenditures to and or within California by people who, one, travel at least 50 miles from home one way for purposes other than commuting to work or school, or two, have an overnight accommodation as a part of the travel, regardless of the distance or purpose traveled.
So I'm up here on the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, a testament to America's greatness, California's greatness, and we couldn't be more proud to announce today record-breaking tourism numbers in the state of California. Over $150 billion of tourism spend, unprecedented in our state's history. If you haven't had the chance to see the magnificence, the beauty of our great state, it's time to visit California.
Yeah, I'm not going to be visiting California if I can make that happen. That's not on my list of to-dos. But the way that they classify tourism dollars, it makes me wonder, how'd you get that number, Governor? Because it would appear to me that a lot of the money spent by illegal aliens could fall into that. The way you guys classify tourism spent. Unbelievable. And you know, the illegal alien stuff, it just continues day after day after day. They tell us crime is down, and then we see stories like this one in Florida.
You hear at 9, an arrest made for an alleged kidnapping of a child. The sheriff's office says that the suspect sexually assaulted a minor. Details right now not immediately made known. During the case at this time, investigators say Marvin Lopez is undocumented and from Guatemala. He was arrested Saturday. We're working right now to learn more about the incident and the condition of the child. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we continue to learn more.
But crime is down, the Biden administration tells us. They tell us this every chance they get. Crime is actually down. Isn't that interesting? Because it doesn't take long to find a new crime story every single day. We could spend the entire show documenting crime from illegal aliens. We could. We see it every day. But they tell us crime is down. This is why people look at the issues and they look at the candidates leading up to November and they say, yeah, I'm with Trump. This is why when the ABC poll comes out, Trump is winning on the big issues.
We're starting to see some daylight open up on the issues that are most salient to voters in polls. Immigration, economy, crime and public safety. These are all Trump areas. He's got a significant advantage in trust in handling these issues. The only areas where Biden has an advantage, healthcare and protecting abortion rights.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only advantage. And in states that we need to win, like Michigan, the anti-Israel protesters, they're still going after the Democrats. Which is, it's fascinating to see. The protests are funded by George Soros and big Democrat donors. The protests are aimed at big Democrats. And in Michigan, they cornered Governor Gretchen Whitmer at her daughter's graduation and harassed her about Israel.
Genocide! How do you justify genocide? How do you justify genocide? How do you sleep at night? Genocide. How do you justify? What are you doing about Palestinian children?
I appreciate.
What are you doing about Palestinian students at the U of M?
I appreciate your raising your voice. I'm here to have a graduation meal with my daughter.
How do you? What about all of the children that are in mass graves? What about them?
What about them? Now, normally, this kind of stuff in a normal political climate, I'd be like, just leave her alone. She's at her daughter's graduation. You know, party be damned. But this is what the Democrats have sowed. This is the fruit that they are bearing. They're funding these protests that are aimed at themselves. It's a wild scene. Absolutely wild. You don't see this kind of stuff with Trump. You don't ever see Trump attacked or harassed by anti-Israel protesters or even Democrat protesters. The American people, they love Trump.
So you recommend his food, right?
Yes, sir. You care if I pray?
Yes, go ahead.
Lord, I pray, Lord, in the name of Jesus.
Every time Trump goes out, he's meeting with people. This is at the Miami Formula One race, and the people that meet him, they're praying with him, they're celebrating him, they're ecstatic to see him. But when Joe Biden or Democrats are out and about, all you get is
genocide. How do you justify genocide?
I think the American people have firmly spoken that they don't appreciate the Democrats in power. I think that is more than clear. More than clear. And as we get closer to November, we're going to find out what happens. I can't wait for November. The days are going to be long. The months will be short. You know, we're in May now. What we got 6 months. 6 months. It can't get here quick enough. And the Democrats know it too. That's why they keep going after Trump. He's in contempt again. The judge in that New York City case, Juan Merchan, He's holding Trump in contempt again for violating the gag order. More fines coming in. He's threatening jail time because that's all they can do to try and stop President Trump. Lawfare. That's it. They have no other strategy. I mean, well, they have the strategy of having Biden speak less. That's an interesting strategy. But when it comes to beating Trump, they have no other strategy. It's wild to watch. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at USS United Structural Systems. When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of times, homeowners, we pretend that we don't see the warning signs. And that's because we're afraid of what we're going to hear. And that's especially true when it comes to waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed, or it could be a small problem now that will become bigger, or it could also be nothing. But the bottom line is we don't really know, certainly, what's going on, and we don't want to be sold something we don't need. We need peace of mind. That's where United Structural Systems comes in. They have over 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers, and they've made that happen by doing the right thing time and time again. When USS comes out to your house, you're getting problem solvers who provide peace of mind to the customers. You, the homeowner, you're not going to get someone who's worried about meeting a sales quota or upselling the next big thing, but someone who's going to be there to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. At USS, that is their only measure of success, and that's how satisfied you are. Not a closing ratio, not a sales quota. So if you find yourself with some foundation repair needs or waterproofing work to be done, you need to call my friends at USS. They'll provide an honest diagnosis and stand by their work and warranties. This is huge. USS is based right here in Middle Tennessee. They're members of our community, and they've been doing it in Middle Tennessee for over 25 years. They're not going anywhere. These are the guys you want doing your repair work, and these are who you want to call if you ever need to use that warranty. United Structural Systems, USS, keeping homes dry and stable. Contact USS today, serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Online at USSTN.com or call 615-488-7855.
Former President Trump threatened with jail time. Israel prepares another assault on Hamas. These stories and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. I'm really looking forward to Trump doing some jail time. I just wish they would. I really do. Hey, did you hear about ABC News? What's going on with them?
What's the latest with our fave?
All right, so I mean, everybody loves ABC News.
Love ABC.
I saw this story come through late last night, and I was excited. I was like, I'm going to talk to Murphy about it today. But Murphy's off.
Sad.
Yeah. Jennifer.
I was about to say, you could still talk to Jennifer about it, though.
Yeah, Jennifer's going to be filling in for Murphy. She's going to do a great job. But so the ABC News, the ABC News,
the news,
the news on ABC News.
Yeah.
The embattled ABC News president, Kim Godwin, steps down after a tumultuous run. She's out. The president of ABC News is out.
Yeah, what happened? What's the why?
I only read the headline, so I'm guessing racism. That was my guess. She did a 3-year run, and she let them know late last night that she's decided to retire from broadcast journalism. They said that she told staffers in a memo that rocked the ABC newsroom. The ABC News newsroom.
Yes.
The news coming out of the ABC News newsroom. She says, I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to have done almost every job there is in this business. But after considerable reflection, I'm certain it's the right one for me as I look to the future and prioritize what's most important for me and my family. So pushing fake news and false narratives can't be the most important thing any longer for Kim Godwin. I don't know. Do you think that's going to affect our local newscasts here?
No.
Well, that was quick. So Godwin's sudden exit came after CNN reported earlier this week that Deborah O'Connell, the Disney veteran, was tapped in February to oversee ABC News as a part of her portfolio. She was conducting a review of performance and had voiced dissatisfaction in private conversations with the state of affairs at the network.
Interesting.
So the heat was coming down.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of knew that the writing was on the wall. And they say that morale at ABC News has suffered significantly since Godwin took the helm in 2021. I believe that.
Yeah.
Morale of our listeners suffers every time ABC News is on. So Godwin and staffers told CNN that she made several profound errors, including employing a hands-off approach to managing, not developing a strategic vision for the newsroom, eliminating the heads of talent relations division, and appointing an inner circle that alienated staffers, among a stream of other complaints. Moreover, while ABC's flagship morning show, Good Morning America, continues to be a rating success, it has slipped in viewership in recent months and has flirted with CBS Mornings for third place, raising alarms among staffers. That's a death blow. You don't want to be in CBS Mornings territory. She did have some allies speak to CNN in recent days and argue that she employed a different type of leadership style than the network staffers had grown accustomed to under previous leadership, who had taken a more hands-on approach. But even her allies acknowledged that she perhaps wasn't a good fit to lead the network. So it only took 3 years to realize she's ruining everything. It's funny because a lot of voters feel the same way about Joe Biden. Were you going to hit the drum?
Yeah,
I saw like. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do the tudum.
Oh, that would have been a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, O'Connell told employees in the memo that for the time being, she will oversee the network, thanking staffers for their patience and understanding through this period of transition. So.
Hey, transitioning. That's good.
That's it. We always lean on transitioning. They're pro transition. So is it going to get better or is it going to get worse? I think that's what people want to know. Mac, you deal with these guys.
Get worse. That's a tough bar. Getting worse. So it'll get better just because it's easier.
Will it get worse before it gets better?
We'll find out this afternoon.
All right, perfect.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in New York City, former President Trump has been hit with another contempt charge in his hush money trial. Aaron Katersky says the judge accusing Trump of violating the gag order again.
The former president, in remarks, had suggested that the jury is not going to be fair, and the judge took umbrage.
The judge said the fines are not serving as a deterrent and threatened to jail Trump. Israel is evacuating parts of Rafah ahead of what could be a military assault on Hamas. Earlier, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed his nation from Jerusalem on it being Holocaust Remembrance Day.
We will defeat our genocidal enemies. Never again is now.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock Store. I am hype. Glock Store open house June 1st. Are you ready? Are you coming? Let me tell you why you need to come to this can't miss event. It's going to be here before we know it. We are weeks away. It's the Glock Store's 4th annual open house, Saturday, June 1st. 10 to 2. Where else are you going to be able to go where they're giving away over $10,000 worth of incredible prizes? Prizes that you actually will be excited to win, like Red Dot Optics from Vortex and Holosun, Tritium-powered night sights, weapon lights with lasers from Nightstick, pistol and rifle bags, and the raffle list just keeps growing and growing and growing. Plus, the competitions are back in full effect. The Nightstick low light, no light competition, back by popular demand, and there's going to be hourly prizes for the top score in that competition. There's also going to be the fast and accurate competition back as well, with the top shooter winning a Glock 19 that is beautiful, all dressed up to show your Tennessee pride. And if you're not up to the task of winning a shooting competition yet, well, you're in the right place at the Glock Store to sign up for lessons to get yourself up to that bar. But you could also enter just win a Glock Store customized Glock worth $1,700. And you only need to be there to enter, not even to win. Plus, I'll be there along with Mandis and Murphy, the whole WTN crew, June 1st, 10 to 2 at the one and only Glock Store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere, especially on June 1st. 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a great Monday so far. So Biden is speaking. He just spoke a little while ago. He looks like he's in front of some cadets.
We missed it?
Yeah.
What?
Well, this is the new I think it's part of the new strategy.
Oh.
You blink and it's gone.
It's quick.
Very quick. If you missed it earlier, we were talking about the new Biden campaign strategy. It's shorter speeches.
We have new this morning from NBC News that the campaign is looking to shorten its speeches. Biden's general election strategy is less is more. The president's aides are seeking to tighten his pitch to voters with shorter, crisper speeches. To be honest with you, Quentin, I think that's a very smart idea.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if it's going to make them crisper.
I think
For everyone.
I appreciate that approach because it is a way for the president to sort of hit with clarity, stick his points and move on and not get lost and sidetracked.
Oh, like what? What do you mean sidetracked? Like talking about cannibals eating your uncle? Is that what they mean? Or talking about how he was actually raised in the Polish, Jewish, Orthodox, Muslim, Arab, black communities of the world? Is that what they mean? I
forgot about that.
Do you think that's what they mean?
Is give us a little bit more of the scene setting around the thinking there and trying to reimagine the campaign going forward with what you just said and this idea now.
I'll set the scene. Every time he speaks, the campaign is just terrified. Right? Every single time.
Of the president tighten his grip on his speeches.
Look, our campaign believes in quality over quantity.
Are we going to get quality?
We believe that these touches, these smaller things that are getting directly to the point about what is going on in the stakes of this election are going to be easier for voters to tap into and sort of also go out and say and talk to their friends and family about what's at stake.
Yeah, they're going to talk about what's at stake. Well, he's given a speech in front of some cadets here at the White House. And I mean, when you listen to the man slurring, it's like, oh, yeah, this is why they don't want him to speak.
We're also joined by Army's football's biggest fans, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff.
Yep.
Is that the Amish? Is that what he said?
He said the Crawdads Kickoff.
Well, yeah, but
countdown.
before that, it was the Amish football show. Can you do that? Can you give me that one more time, please?
Well, you're a sports guy, so maybe he's making more sense than I thought he was.
We're also joined by Army's football's biggest fans, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff.
I don't know. I don't know what he said.
Army football's biggest fans.
Is that what it was? Army, maybe? Okay.
Army football's biggest. Bill and Doug. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
We're also joined by Army's football's biggest fans,
Armish, yeah.
Bill and Steve of the radio show.
Bill and Steve.
Bill and Steve. Armish. That's why it was.
Armish.
Yeah, that's why I was like, Amish? Okay, Armish.
The Armish.
I love Armish.
We love the Armish.
Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff. We're also joined.
Crawdads Countdown. Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff. I've never heard the show. I don't want to insult the show. I doubt that's the name of the show. Do you think that's the name of the show? Do you think that's the name of the show?
Oh, that would be so great if it's not.
It's like,
I want it to not be so bad.
Google that. Let's find out what the name of the show is of the Army.
We're also joined by Army's football's biggest fans, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff.
That's what it is. He's right. Look at that. I see Bill and Steve.
How did Bill and Steve look?
They look fine.
They look woke.
You know, Bill and Steve, I don't know. They look well off. Chris is nodding his head.
Well, it comes across on radio when I do the nod very well. Well, you know what Biden says? I mean, in this economy, rich people are going to do good and poor people are going to have a shot. So it's like Bill and Steve are, they're making it. The Crawdad Countdown to Kickoff. It's like radio, man. Why do you have to mention radio?
Jason on the Members Nutrition Super Text line says, sounds like something I heard on Behind the Box Score.
Yep. It does sound like that, doesn't it? And then, of course, he rushed out of there. This is the new strategy. Keep it brief,
quick,
and get out. So as soon as the question starts, he's just running.
Mr. President, what was your message to Netanyahu?
But guys, the music is playing. He doesn't answer questions when the music is on. Classic Joe Biden. This is what they do. And then the Democrats, they'll send out their surrogates to cover for Biden in all the other areas. Keep your speech short. Don't say anything, and we'll let our guys do the rest. You know, guys that can actually talk, like Hakeem Jeffries.
But 2/3 of voters think the economy was better under President Trump.
Well, that's just not the case, and we have to do a better job of laying out the facts that the economy has dramatically improved under the leadership of President Joe Biden.
Dramatically improved. It's dramatically improved, says Hakeem Jeffries, under the leadership of Joe Biden. Not just improved a little bit. Not getting better. Dramatically improved. This is news to me. Maybe it's news to you, because I was under the impression that inflation has averaged over 5% under Joe Biden, and it was averaged at 1.9% under Donald Trump. I don't know about you. Maybe we got our wires crossed. I was under the impression that real average weekly earnings are down 3.9% under Biden. They were up over 8% under Trump. And I don't know, maybe my memory is foggy. Maybe it's a little hazy. Getting up there in years. Maybe it's not what it used to be. I remember the interest rates on mortgages were like around 2.7% under Trump. And they're now over 7%. Under Biden.
I don't know how often I got to set you straight.
It's working.
It is working. Okay.
But dude, gas prices are 53% higher than when Biden took office.
Don't.
I know.
You say 53? Whew.
53% higher. 53. Have you filled up lately?
Try not to.
It's awful.
No, it's terrible.
I have a friend whose daughter just started driving, and they have a Yukon. She had to go from Murfreesboro to Nashville.
Ooh.
She thought $25 was going to cover it. Not in this economy.
Gosh, it's crazy.
But the surrogates will go out there and they'll keep the gaslighting going.
Better job of laying out the facts that the economy has dramatically improved under the leadership of President Joe Biden.
But if those are the facts, why don't voters believe it? Is that a communication problem?
This is what they always, is it a communication? It is, actually. It is a communication problem.
Voters understand that more needs to be done, that there are challenges that remain.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's a work in progress.
Aaron gets it, though. He texts in, wait, aren't prices too low?
We understand that prices, again, are too low.
This is true. Way too low. Way too low. And your healthcare prices are going to be even lower after they give away all the free healthcare to the dreamers, I'm sure.
Yep.
But when you're milled from a bill.
Yep. And the White House, do you know when the White House said prices will drop? They said they have no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think prices are ever going to drop. And during an interview with CBS on Friday, the White House Council of Economic Advisors Chair Jared Bernstein responded to a question on how long it will take prices to drop if Biden's reelected by stating that we have a good job market, wages are outpacing inflation, and Biden has cut some costs. I have no idea. The host pushed him back and said, but like time frame, like can you give me a time frame? And it was a word salad. So, well, again, I think one of the things we can look at is the numbers, like those in the job reports today. One of the things we saw in this jobs report is that if you look at the share of women in the workforce, the employment rate, that's the highest it's ever been with data back to 1948. That's a historical record. That's not what I asked. I didn't ask about women job numbers. I asked about in-store prices. He didn't answer that. He danced around that. The Biden administration should sell tap shoes branded with the Biden-Harris 2024 logo, because anytime they get a hard question, they dance around it as best they can. So we got to just keep middling from the middle. That's all we can. That's all we can hope for.
That's it, man.
What else are we going to do? I mean, even Starbucks is having trouble, which is, it's not really that much of a shocker. In this economy, who has enough money for a $6 drink?
Yeah.
But this week, Starbucks Coffee revealed that it had a decrease in coffee sales since the beginning of the year. And it blamed, listen to this. Listen to do you want to know what they blamed?
Prices, what?
Long wait times for orders.
Oh, come on.
That's the reason. That's the reason they said why.
So they're going to blame what? That's so lack of employment? They're not able to hire people.
They're blaming their own employees for making customers wait too long. In an interview with CNBC's Jim Cramer, the Starbucks CEO, Laxman Narishman, I'm probably butchering his name, whatever. He said, "We have customers coming to our stores today on our mobile order pay who don't fulfill their transaction because of wait time." So he blamed the staff for their failures. But then at the same time, he also upped them. So people are waiting too long, but he also said, our team in the U.S. has done a phenomenal job in improving the speed of service. So which is it? While he was giving this interview on CNBC about their failing sales, you could watch the stock tick down in real time. Like it dropped like 5%. Starbucks is going away. I'm calling it now.
Wow, what a take.
Calling it now. It has to.
Wow.
Who's going to pay $6 for a coffee?
Doing it for a minute.
Coffee is insane. The prices are insane. Under Trump, it was like $2 for a large ice from Dunks. It's like $4 now. I don't even buy those anymore.
It's nuts.
You want me to go spend $35 on a couple of breakfast sandwiches and some espresso?
Exactly.
Hard pass. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Jennifer Sheets is filling in for Matt Murphy. She's going to check in with us next. And you know what I'm going to ask her? I'm going to ask her her spiciest political take.
Ooh.
And I'm going to ask her a conspiracy theory she believes in.
Love it.
That's what I'm going to... She doesn't know. She doesn't know that's what I'm going to ask her.
Oh, you're surprising her with this.
I'm surprising her with this.
This will be great.
So we'll see what she does. Let's see what she does. And I will ask her opinion on birds. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Jennifer Sheets. Hello, Jennifer. Hey, Chris. How you doing? I'm good. How are you?
Good. Just got off a flight from Orlando from being at a cheer competition all week with my daughter. So
this will be a breeze.
This is a breeze compared to the schedule I've been on for the last week.
How'd they do in their cheer competition?
They actually did amazing, but there's only one winner. So if they don't come back out winning or making it to the finals, whatever, they feel like it's not a success. I'm just proud of them. Anyway, so, hey.
Okay, so you're not taking the Ricky Bobby if you're not first, you're last stance.
Oh, no, we did that in the corner, and then, I'm just kidding. We did not.
Oh, I told everybody I was gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
All right. Jennifer, give me a conspiracy theory that you believe in.
I have a few of them.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
So first, I think that Lyndon Johnson had JFK killed.
Okay.
I think that you can't
That's spicy.
prove. Yeah, I don't think you can prove or not prove that Bigfoot exists or doesn't exist.
Okay.
And for a while there, I didn't know if Kate Middleton was still alive.
Okay, so I can vibe with you on the first two. Now we got to go down the Kate Middleton rabbit hole.
Oh, yes.
Why did you think that she was not alive?
Just it was strange because the kids weren't in school. The kids hadn't been in school or seen since Christmas time. And they'd been taken out of school. I felt like she was somewhere in the countryside because maybe, Will got that girl pregnant or something. And there was some kind of hidden thing going on. And maybe they were just keeping her. But I have a cheer mom chat that this was their rabbit hole. They went down back and forth about this.
I feel like the cheer mom group chat needs to join the Red Pilled Mom Club.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. We need them.
It's fantastic.
Well, wasn't there all the doctored photos of Kate Middleton being put out?
Yes, and that's why I'm how do they think that we are now? That we don't notice that kind of thing? I mean, but
And didn't you wear a weird red dress that was pointed towards a horror movie?
Yes. It's almost like she was giving signals. You wanted to look at her and go, is she blinking twice for help? It's that's what you're thinking. I don't know.
No, I think those are good conspiracy theories. What's one conspiracy you don't believe in?
Let's see. I don't believe in, I'm trying to think of a few. I don't believe in Big Bang, but that's not really conspiracy theory.
I'm with it.
I don't believe that things are coincidence. I think that there's stuff hidden behind anything and everything that there is. And if you look deep enough, you'll find it. But if we sit with blinders on, we won't. So I think I question a lot of things.
Well, I'm looking forward to what you got coming up today. What's going on the show?
Oh, gosh, so much. I want to talk about from the mayor's transit plan to what's going on with the protesting. And my son is going to college, and he graduates next week. So I want to talk a little bit about how that goes. I want to talk about social media and something that Kim Jong has done in North Korea with a TikTok and how that's affected everybody. And I also want to talk about the FTC doing the non-competes.
Jennifer Sheets in for Matt Murphy next on Super Talk.